install?
Oh, I have no idea. Oh, this is supposed to do this, no? If you do this. This change.
Yeah, but no, it's not.
No, because it's actual.
Oh,
Yeah, you
stuff
need
like
to.
this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. With
How do I do this?
IT organization. C'était connecté ça. Il faut installer le.
You have to install. It's like a USB.
Yeah.
And you can find in your.
Okay. How do I do this?
You can find this one, and there is a Mac program that you can install in your PC.
Oh, I need to install a program.
And after that, you will be able to connect with your PC.
How do I know what to install? What do I install?
Je vais t'expliquer. Bah, il faut expliquer ça.
C'est quoi? C'est Win, ça?
Ça, c'est dans un
Is this
logiciel.
connected to the internet? Is this connected to the internet?
I'm doing the streaming. I'm not doing this one. Sorry.
So we can connect this one and we can connect this one. This one, is it connected?
So, can you see it's like a USB. So in your Mac, can you see in the Finder this one, like USB storage?
This one?
Yes, and you click. You have to click share for Mac OS X. Double click. Double click on it.
Okay.
So after that, okay.
Thank you.
Non, attends. On peut expliquer ça?
Testing. Hello, hello. Hi. Bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour. My name is Zhen. I'm one of the co-founders for Taurus, and I'm glad to be here in the Paris talking to you guys today. This talk is about, let me just close the notification so you guys don't have to see that. This talk is about the path to, oh fuck. Okay, disaster averted, or maybe not. Okay, this talk is about a path to decentralized custody. And again, I'm Zhen from Taurus. Bonjour, everybody. So, who here is a dApp developer? Who here develops dApps primarily? Okay, I see a couple of hands. All right, and if for those of you guys, and also you guys who have interacted with a decentralized application in recent months, I think you guys might have seen that the onboarding experience for applications has become somewhat like this. It's a little bit messy. There's a little bit of a setback. There are tons of wallet providers providing wallets which pledge for a better UI UX. But this is not really the experience that we've all been gunning before. Today, with this talk, I hope to convey how Taurus is approaching the key management problem, its path to decentralized key generation, as well as maybe convince some of you in the crowd to use us over some of these competitors. So, for those who are new to Taurus, the best way to experience Taurus and the wallet itself is to actually just go to app.tor.us and check it out for yourselves. You guys would be able to sign in via Google, and the app basically allows you to log in via OAuths. So this includes like Google, Facebook, Reddit, Discord, or any one of these logins to get a public-private key pair, which you can then use to interact with the Ethereum blockchain, or any blockchain for that matter. And really the front end is just sugarcoating over what's happening on the back end. how we do key management is a little bit different from some from conventional ways. Who here knows of Shamirs secret sharing by any chance? Okay, I see some hands. Yeah, several of you guys. For those who don't, it's basically polynomial interpolation. So, for example, if you have a line, right, and you have 1 point on that line, you can't define the line, right? You need 2 points, so you need A and B. This is true for higher powers of x. So for x squared, you need 3 points. For x cubed, you need 4 points. Like a curve, you need 3 points. Basically, in Shamirs secret sharing, the y-intercept is always the public-private key pair. And here we have a 2 out of 3 Shamirs secret sharing. Because of any of the 2 points of A, B, and C, you can always reconstruct the function and get back the y-intercept, which is your public-private key pair. What we do on the backend for Taurus is we basically do this n times. So each node on the network creates a random polynomial, and you basically sum this all up to get a final polynomial, a master public-private key pair with master shares on the network. And the result is each of these nodes, we basically take, there we go. Okay, so, yeah, sorry, we're facing a bit of technical difficulties there. So we basically take these points that we've just defined on the line, and we distribute them across a set of nodes on the network. So these are run by Binance, Ethereum name service, Etherscan, Tendermint, Scalematic, Zilliqa, and us as well. When you log in via app.tor.us, via Google or something like that, you take your auth token. So you talk to the Authenticator, which is Google in this case. You get your auth token via the IFrame and relay it to the nodes on the back end, each individually verifying that you are who you say you are against Google itself. And this is the case, this is generalizable. So this is the case for like Facebook, Reddit, or it could be even a signature or a key pair. And you can build on top of this. So that's a default seed key. But what you can build is, for example, a password manager, which we've also done. You can check out the implementation at alpha.tor.us. This basically allows a user to add an additional salt via a password. You hash the salt with the key, or you encrypt the key with the salt, so that the key distributed and stored on the network itself is an encrypted key. And when you log in, you retrieve that key, do the decryption only at the front end, and use that key. We've also built out gasless transactions via smart contract wallets, which people are free to use. Honestly, we never really wanted to do this. We don't consider ourselves smart contract developers, smart contract wallet developers. But we did it out of necessity to supply some of the dApps that have already integrated us these gasless transactions. And our philosophy over here has always been to extend extensibility to all smart contract wallets. So basically what we're doing is we're ensuring our front end is integrable with smart contract wallets, be they from Argent, which is ours is a fork of, or Ethereum, Gnosis Safe, whatever it might be. So that was the first form of integration, which is the Taurus IFrame integration. You can do so via a script tag and all of that, but there's another form of integration in which people can actually talk to the nodes directly on the back end. You can imagine our IFrame currently as just being one of these applications, which basically have a verification or execution script, which is on the BFT layer of the network, and this script is run every time you want to retrieve a Shamirs secret share for a node. So the Taurus IFrame basically has these verifiers: the Google verifier, the Facebook verifier, the Discord verifier, the Twitch verifier, and so it goes on. But and any application can do the same. So for example, we have some applications in pipeline, GoodDollar, Kaiba, which are doing this form of integration. So you basically create, the experience is basically you create a Google client ID. You just create a Google OAuth Flow, and you relay that to the nodes on the back end. You're then able to collect the shares and reconstruct the key in your own front end. This implementation has several implications, though. There are positive implications in that it's immediately web and mobile friendly. Also, dApps get literally full control of the user experience. There's no longer any pop-up flows, no longer any, basically, the consent flow is derived by the dApp itself. There are also issues with, but there is a problem in that users don't get the same key. So for example, with this particular flow, it's very similar to the universal logins flow in that each dApp's user gets a specific key according to that dApp. So for example, Bob at tor.us, which logs in via the Taurus iframe, is different from, will get a different key when he or she logs on to, for example, Kaiba over here. But within app, it's specific and it pertains to the same key. And we really like this integration moving forward. So we've been out for about a year and a half at this point, and we launched out of beta last month. There's no two ways about it. The Taurus network currently is a permission network. It's federated. We basically, the nodes operating, you saw it just now. And the next step is obviously moving towards further decentralization. Initially, when we started the project, we really wanted to make it a fully decentralized project, but we decided not to go the token route and instead decided to build kind of towards incremental steps of providing a product which has actual value. So the first version is what we have today, and you can see it on app.tor.us or integrated into 100 over applications in the dApp space today. But what we want to do is build a second version of this. There are some obstacles in the way. The first one is obvious because we use Shamirs secret sharing. We have a different set of assumptions from what somebody would build if they were trying to build, let's say, Ethereum or Bitcoin. This is because these Shamirs secret shares can't be revealed, can be committed to on-chain, but can't be revealed. And it's basically the underlying assumptions are threshold assumptions. There are also other problems, such as pinning it to rewards incentives. For example, in Bitcoin, when, for example, in Bitcoin, the security of the network is directly pegged to its incentives because Bitcoin is just a currency, and its miners are rewarded in its currency. And that kind of makes it such that if the currency's value goes up, network value in the network goes up, and therefore rewards also go up. This is different in Ethereum. Ethereum has that concept as well with ETH, but they also have a generalized execution context, which allows for other things. Like, for example, if you put your house on Ethereum, that value doesn't increase the security of the network at all. That token just, it's not possible to quantify that value. And that's the same with public-private key pairs. We cannot quantify the value that's held on public-private key pairs. But what we can do is realistically try to make it very, very hard to attack. We also feel that custody in general is here to stay. This is because custody is a great service that we have in the world. There's a reason why we don't keep gold in our sock drawers. Instead, we keep it in banks and stuff. And even, I mean, let's say you could run your own SMTP server, but most people choose to go with a front-end client, Proton Mail, Google, or whatever that might be. This is shown in the crypto ecosystem as well, in the way, for example, most mainstream users, I'm sure not many people in this room, but more mainstream users keep a lot of their funds on centralized exchanges or basically custody solutions like Coinbase Custody or BitGo or something like that. So our model of choosing to potentially decentralize this is we are making it user-focused, user-chosen. So basically, anybody would be able to run a Taurus node. They would be able to charge and stake the amount they would like to charge or stake for keeping somebody's share. In return, users choose who they want to keep their shares and park their shares with. If you're comfortable with 100 nodes, that's great. If you're comfortable with 5 nodes, that's great too. And it might be a mixture of nodes which are relevant to you. For example, JP Morgan might run a node, maybe Google might run a node, as well as maybe your mom might run a node, and you might choose to park your shares with all 3 of them and your mom won't charge because that's free. But yeah, I think that's about it from me for now. Do talk to us if you're keen on both the IFrame integration or the direct Taurus Network integration. We'd love to help to get you set up with that. If you're a DApp, we can really help with the OAuth logins or any particular auth that you want, including your own. And we're also looking for people to help us build this. If you're keen on potentially exploring the space, let me know. I would love to open the floor to any questions that people might have. Yeah?
About the incentives for actors to keep the shares secret.
Yep.
They put tokens at stake, and these tokens can be burnt or used if they reveal somehow the secret, or what's the...
Yes, exactly. It's very similar to that. The staking mechanism is very similar to that in that we don't really have a token right now, but in the next version, it's basically Shamirs secret shares are just points that you saw on that curve, right? And there are ways to reshare a Shamirs secret share. So it's called proactive secret sharing, where you basically reshare the whole key from one thing to a new polynomial, and you recreate the polynomial. What you can basically do is on every login, you require an attestation on the attestation layer, and that proves a login. And if that thing doesn't exist, and a share is revealed, a commitment of the share is revealed on the network, then you can slash. And that's how it works, yeah. Any other questions that I might be able to answer? Okay, my time is up. Thank you very much, guys.